respectfully as much.
Listen, at the BCS, no lip kissing, all right?
No,
no. We'll put napkins over our mouth, of course.
Oh my gosh. Yo. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to our Frigid Freestyle Friday. Gonna have a good time as always. Got some wonderful ladies in the house. We're going to talk about temperature-controlled logistics and cold chains and just have a really, really good time. We have Mr. Dickinson in the house as usual. And special announcement today in place of the news. Think everyone's going to love this. Y'all sit back, relax, pop a top, and enjoy the lounge. Mr. Hound, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, brother. Got some action in motion today with a new client. So hopefully, dude, next week might be the most loaded week I've had of 2024. We're about to announce new customers going to Broker Carrier Summit. I'll be kicking in Dallas Monday and Tuesday in the warehouse. I'm pushing TJ O'Done to let me get my freaking forklift certification, just so I can say I have it and to do it. And then after that CDL life, man, we're going to be driving around. We're doing the full thing, man. It's been a beautiful start to wintertime, fall. And it's even more beautiful to be here in the lounge. How you doing today, man?
Dude, I'm doing all right, man. Had a regular day, I guess, for once this week. I've just been pretty busy, man. Got a new customer, which really I wasn't busy with them. It's just been growing stuff with this seafood customer, man. That's really where I've been focused at is dealing with that stuff. And yeah, man, had a few things to do today and just hung out, went and ate lunch with my son. And yeah, here we are, man. And I can't wait to get to this announcement, Hunter. Like, man, oh man, I'm telling you, woo, we got hurt, move through the show. Before Jeff, we're going to ask how you're doing, but first we got to introduce the bodacious cowboy, Mr. Jeff Dickinson, everybody. Jeff, how you doing, man?
Hey, you know what? Hold on a second. I'm ready for the BCS, dude.
Oh,
nice. Dude, who's got those shirts? Who has those shirts?
What do you think?
Get it from Dan.
Oh,
Dan or Trey or Bane. Yeah.
Are they bringing it to the summit?
That's a good question. I do not know.
Oh, I need to text him and tell him to bring Hunter and I one day. We were supposed to get some of those. Dale was telling us about when he was doing those. Yep.
But who's this?
Oh, Nick Smith.
Man.
Yeah. The man, Nick. Legend. Nick, you still out there in Colorado? Is that where you were going up there?
What's that?
I was asking Nick if he's still in Colorado. When I talked to him the other day, he was flying out to Colorado for a speaking engagement. I believe it was Colorado. I think Denver.
I had a tough week because obviously I'm going to the BCS next week to meet you fine two gentlemen, but I had to triple up. Next week I had to do this week because all my stuff is dedicated. Plus I'm running the relief drive for Asheville, North Carolina. I have my 6 truck moving down there. It's just it's been crazy, but you know what we do for other people, not for ourselves, which is good.
How is that going, Jeff?
It's going great, man. I mean the story of what's happening. I've been talking to National Guard down there. I've been talking to people who are in the muck doing their things, from Bat Cave to Black Mountain. I mean, those people are still suffering, guys. It's not over, and it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. We got to keep those supplies flowing in for a long period of time. And plus, you got to remember these volunteers that are working there, and they need the support too. You know,
Right.
they're working around the clock. They're getting burned out. You know, some of these people, I mean, they're cold setting it. They need gloves. They need hand warmers. They need boots. They need pillows, blankets, you know, all the necessities that you and I would want in our families if we lost everything and we're out in the cold, literally, not
getting
figuratively
cold.
speaking.
It's
Yeah.
been getting down into the 30s and 40s here in Tennessee, so I can't imagine up
Oh,
there in
yeah.
the foothills of the Appalachia. Like, come on.
Yeah.
That's
It's just pathetic, you know, and you got the little kids there and they're still finding people in the debris. It's just god awful, you know. It's just it's a
Yeah.
life-changing moment down there where it was a peaceful community and everybody knew everybody, and now they know each other even better because, you know, it always takes a catastrophic event for a community to unite and come together to help each other out, you know. It's a weird
100%.
thing, but it always takes a catastrophe to change somebody's mind about their stance on, oh, it'll never happen to me, until it happens to you. And then it's like, shit, I need help, you
Yep.
know? So it's
Yep.
tough.
And speaking from personal experience, anybody watching, like if you've never been to Asheville, North Carolina, or out in East Tennessee, that area, number one, you got the nicest people in the world. Like, will take their shirts off their back for you, but also it is some of the most beautiful, like, scenery. The mountains, the rivers out there, great trout fishing. Like, it's awesome, and just to see that.
Now it's all gone.
Yeah, so it will take a nation, or at
Yeah,
least the true
years.
Americans out here, to do what they can to help. So, Jeff, once again, hats off to you, brother.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. And I've gotten a lot of accolades, guys, and I keep on saying it. I do appreciate it. And I'm not trying to be a bore or be a Debbie Downer, but it's not about me. It's all about them. And I just keep
It's happening right now. There are people out there suffering right now. And we're sitting here in our offices, in our house, wherever, just watching this, having no worries in the world.
Yeah.
Those people are worried about if they're getting food, water, baby diapers, family. Like, there's more than that. So,
you know, it's just real quick, and we'll get into the show. But one last thing I'll say is that I heard from a guy who's head of the aviation down there that's controlling the ground distribution as well as the air for lift. And FEMA's been going in and taking stuff out of these drop zones and saying, oh, you can't eat this. This is unhealthy. We can't allow this kind of stuff and all of that. Believe it or not, the National Guard has the authority to use lethal force if FEMA comes in and tries to take this stuff out. I mean, this is our country, guys. Just think about this concept for a second. We can't go against each other. We're supposed to unite and help each other out, not take shit from people that need it bad because you don't think it's either edible or I mean, it's terrible.
This isn't a time for bureaucracy. This is a time for life and death.
It's hideous at best. So let's get into some positive things, guys. Let's start the show off and bring in our guest. How's that?
We are gonna get into some positive stuff, man. This is gonna be nothing but a positive show. But before we get to the guest, you just hold your horses, Mr. Co-host, okay?
Oh, I know how to do that.
I know how to do that.
He's the cowboy.
Yippee-ki-yay. No, I can't say that.
But we first got to give some love to the sponsors, Freight Validate. Thank you, Freight Validate, Mr. Dale Prax and his team over there. They are the ones who are sending us to Broker Carrier Summit. So we appreciate that very, very much. Hey, everyone, y'all have seen Dale on the show plenty enough. Most people in our industry know who Freight Validate is. Everyone's out there trying to stop fraud, stop theft, catch these scammers and these scumbags in their tracks. And Freight Validate is the tool that you need to do that. Our newest sponsor, welcome, Freight Ninja. There we go. Look at that. Oh, I really appreciate that nice, beautiful koozie. Yeah,
I'm from the Misfit Mafia. Shout out to my buddy from Large Cars Guitars. Cool truck. But
you gotta do a deal, man. You got to give it Neil. Get you. Matter of fact, no, Hunter, I got an extra one, bro. I'll bring it next week. He sent me
You
two.
better do it, or else we're scrapping Texas style. But I'll bring some of that Tennessee ass whooping to you.
Hey, but nothing beats this, man. Nothing beats this when you have your own thing,
Hey, do your plug later. This is about our damn sponsor, you selfish.
This is Jeff's show, remember?
I know.
Sponsored by Freight Validate.
Freight, right? Freight Ninja. Hey, Freight Ninja. Everyone in this industry knows that truck parking is a major issue. We cannot depend on the government to fix this problem. They are just trickling money in. They're not taking care of it. It is going to be up to the private sector to make this happen. And companies like Freight Ninja are doing that. They have their own lots. They're secured. They have cameras, have access codes, all of these stuff. You can book your spot on their website or call the number below. Make sure you use the code Lounge Ninja when you book, and you can get yourself a special rate. Dude, I like that last clip. You know, that's the one of that truck driving school, bro. And you can see him in the video, like doing the backing and stuff. Like, that's my favorite.
I'm pulling a page. I was on mute, but dude, yeah, that's one of the coolest things I've heard. Those guys are doing it differently.
I never thought about that, man. Like, I mean, I don't know. I didn't think about, like, you know, truck driving schools, you know, using like parking things or whatever to use their school and do stuff at. So really amazing idea. All right, we ready to get to this news? I know we are. I know. Oh yeah. All right. All right, everybody. So Hunter and I, we did a little thing. And we hinted at everybody to what was going on. Put out a post for a few days asking for folks to send in some questions. And we had the opportunity to interview the drivers and the logistics manager from an international touring country music band that is based out of Texas here. And so we would like to announce that show with this very special video.
It's been a long time gone since the truth's been told, and I've seen my head cut us low. Come on, save my soul. We play a ball guitar and a honky tonk crowd.
Yeah,
Nice.
Whiskey Myers, baby.
Oh.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Shout out
Hey.
Todd, Danny, Sarah, Chico, the gang.
Man, dude,
those guys.
I found out Sarah is also a hog rider, man. She has a sweet fucking Harley, dude. Sweet Harley. After the show, she freaking friend requested me, man, and I was going through her stuff, and she actually was riding it the day before they had to leave to go back out on the tour. So,
Dude,
Nice.
those are the most down home people, and every driver watching right now, you better tune into that show because you want to talk about being a family. Oh, they bring back, they are the true epitome of old school American trucking, and that is the truth. So yeah, tune in next Tuesday. It's gonna be awesome.
yeah, incredible show. We're going to drop some more teaser trailers along the way. Those will be dropping on all of our platforms. The logistics manager gave, or the photographer, gave us some footage to use. So everybody be on the lookout for some really cool footage for the trucks. And like Hunter said, and the video showed, next Tuesday, 4:00. It is a recorded show. So we think that's a perfect time to drop that because we'll be going to the Broker Carrier Summit later later that day doing our traveling. So while we're doing that, all of you ladies and gentlemen will be able to watch our interview with the drivers from Whiskey Myers. Man, dude, I'm sorry, man.
Yeah, dude. Todd is the tour bus driver, man. Like, come on, dude. Like, yeah, cool fucking show. Like, we're a bunch of goofballs with that. It's our best show to date. Maybe today we'll top it, but like, it was one of our goals knocked off the list.
It was, dude. Yes.
Elon Musk, we're coming for you next, man. But we got our fucking first musical fucking logistics. Dude, yeah, it's cool. It's cool.
Can't wait for that one.
It's cool.
All right, we're not going to keep anyone waiting any longer. We'll talk more. Maybe talk a little bit about some of the stuff we talked about during our interview here later on in the show. Give y'all some teasers of what to expect from that interview with Whiskey Myers. But without making anyone wait, we want to welcome Elissa and Dawn.
Just hold on loosely, but don't let it go. If you cling too tightly,
You're gonna lose control.
Hunter, I'm going to give you. I before we start this, I want you to guess which one of these ladies do you think is a 38 Special fan?
Both of them. But if I had to guess, Elissa from her head banging.
I'm on backwards. There.
Let's go. Awesome intro song. That's a good start to this Friday. How's it going, ladies?
Great, good. Friday.
It is Friday. Well, thanks for coming in the lounge. How's y'all's day been going so far?
You go
Pretty
first.
good, pretty good. Busy, good, great.
I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna be a woo girl. Woo! That's what I say.
You're on the right.
Yeah, I live in Nashville, so I see that too often. Give you a pass.
Wow. Okay. That works.
Happy to be here. There you go.
No, we appreciate you joining us, Dawn. Dawn, Elissa and I, we hooked up. What post was it that I did, Elissa, that like you and I started talking in the comments and then started DMing each other? Do you remember?
I don't remember what it was,
I don't either.
but it's been a couple months. We've been chatting back and forth. It's been a minute, but we've been just going back and forth, and here we are.
We did, yes, exactly. Here we are. I obviously I knew I made something that had to do with temperature control stuff, and we did. You and I started having a conversation, and you started. I remember on my DMs, you started spitting off all of this stuff, and I was like, "Holy crap! I've never thought about any of that stuff." And then she's like, "Yeah, do you know about this new law coming out?" Then I was like, "Hold on there, Congressman. Just give me a second." I told listeners that I love refrigerated freight. It's great stuff. And it spans much more than people think. They usually just think food, and so many different things are refrigerated. And after I looked into your background and you and I talked, I had to have you on, and you said we have to add on. And so, as Hunter said, welcome. But we start everyone out with the same first question, and y'all can choose who goes first. But who is Elissa and Dawn, and how did you get involved with temperature controlled freight and get to where you are today with that?
I'll let you go first, Dawn.
Okay. Well, my story is a little unique. I was in accounting for 20 years, got burnt out, and I was like, I want a job where I can travel, see the country. And I had this idea of getting in a truck and driving everywhere. I was so burnt out, I didn't want to keep the books anymore on anything. So I jumped in a truck. I went to trucking school, and I'll tell you this story. I am very blind because in trucking school, they were talking to me about bridge weights, between the axles, how you slide your tandems. And the teacher asked me, he says, how do you tell the bridge weights? And I looked at him and I said, don't they have professionals that go out there and decide that? I mean, aren't I going to pull up on a bridge and it's going to tell me how much weight can be on there? That's how untrucking I was. So in 2009, I started driving a truck. 6 months into it, I couldn't help but keep the books. I bought my first truck. I'm now a fleet owner. All I do is specialize in pharmaceutical. I actually am the lead driver on a run. I have moved multi-million dollars worth of freight by organizing drivers and getting freight to airports and exporting the freight. On the planes, I am transitioning now into an agency, but I do still own my trucks and I still love to drive them things.
That is so awesome. How many trucks do you have, Dawn? You don't mind
I have 2 trucks and I actually am a mentor and I mentor drivers coming into it also. So I have probably, and I don't do social media, which is crazy because I have all these drivers, agents, everything that check in and I link them up. I hook drivers up with loads all the time to cover pharmaceutical.
How much is your insurance policy?
My insurance policy on myself?
No, on the freight. I mean, what's the minimum that you have? Because I know pharmaceutical, it's high.
It varies. We usually do contract out with clients. They have specific amounts that we can haul, and then anything above and beyond that, we have to check every single load because we do have to take out high value insurance on a lot of the loads.
Yeah, because I know that sometimes a pallet of pharmaceuticals may be this high on a 48 by 48. You could be hauling $300,000 worth of,
or 3.5
or a million.
Or right, yeah. Exactly. That's my point. Yeah.
Correct.
Yep. Wow. Good for you. Good for you. Taking complex stuff.
That's an amazing. You know, it is a story as old as time in our industry. There are so many people that drive trucks later in their life that come from just the most crazy backgrounds. I think we talked to someone on the show one time. They met like a former NASA engineer at a truck stop that was a driver and retired. I mean, like it's amazing the folks. I've met doctors on the road, like people that retired from having practices, and they're like, I just want to drive a truck and see the country. And so that's so cool.
It's definitely a way to do it. I enjoyed it. I loved and when I was little, I thought of my neighborhood as being, if I could get around my neighborhood, I was great. Now I can take you across the US.
Hey, Dawn, do you have geofencing on all of your loads?
We do use them on occasion. When we're hauling true pharmaceutical loads, we do other stuff besides pharmaceutical. We can handle electronics. There's a lot of things that you want to haul in cold chain trailers. You don't want humidity. I mean, cold chain trailers is not just about keeping things cold. You can regulate humidity. You can keep electronics dry. You can protect from freeze. So there's a lot of variety of freight to be hauled in a reefer trailer outside of pharmaceuticals.
And there's one other thing too, right? I mean, when I used to haul that kind of stuff, you always change the routes, right?
Yes, routes are changed. You don't ever want to take the same routes. When you're doing the geofencing, I like some of the technology now, because some of the technology now, you can actually send a link to your customer and they can actually click on that truck. They can see where it's at, how fast it's moving, if it's stopped. I mean, there's all kinds of technology out there now where you can keep an eye on your freight from the time it leaves the shipper. The temperature of the trailer is there. You can click on it and see the temperature of the trailer, make sure your freight's moving properly. And it's amazing how far we've come, even since I've been in the trucking world.
All right, Elissa, before Jeff keeps asking the rest of the questions that we want to ask.
Don't forget that, Pedro.
I've talked to Jeff before.
I'm sorry, Hunter. You're right. Jeff, we'll leave it up to you. Elissa, a question to you. How did you get to be where you are in cold chain expertise?
Well, I always worked in logistics. It's my whole career since I was about 20 years old. I've worked in logistics, different types of companies. My husband was in the military, so we moved around about every 4 years. We would move somewhere else, so I would have to reinvent myself wherever we went. So I stayed on the logistics path. I would be worked for asset carriers. I would work for brokers. I would work for the customer side. I worked all different types of jobs. So I know kind of what people want on the customer side, on the carrier side, what people want. I've worked in billing. So I know if things don't happen the right way, then billing can get messed up. So I did all that. And then he retired. We came to Jacksonville and I went to work for a large corporation. And they wanted to grow the cold chain fleet. So I grew the cold chain fleet. They had about 5 trucks when I started. And then they had over like 300 recruiting and just growing that fleet, growing something very cool that is up and coming was great to be a part of. And it's just a mode that is, even 5 years ago, it's not as prevalent as it is now. People want more control over their freight. They want to know more, like, the Amazon thing, ruined us all. We want to know where stuff is at all times now. So, because it's just where we are these days. So all the new electronics and devices that we put on the ships now tell, like Dawn said, the temperature of the freight, where the freight is, and it gives the customer the visibility. And that's what I enjoy about it. I enjoy bringing solutions to customers. They have hard lanes, difficult product, very expensive product. And it's not, like Dawn said, it's not just pharmaceuticals. We move aerospace, electronics, all types of things, life science, laboratories. So we move like science projects on wheels, I call them, because, we're in the environment we move freight in. We have a lot of different drivers that can do a lot of different things. We don't have cookie cutter trucks. It's just the same truck does the same thing. It has several different facets to it. So that's the cool thing about, in the space that we're at, how we move freight, the types of equipment that we have access to. It's pretty cool. And I enjoy the cool stuff in the cold chain.
Like it. I like I said, I like reefer freight as well. I mentioned that earlier. It is amazing the things that go inside of a reefer trailer, like Dawn said, that people do not think about. So let's start with that. What is y'all's favorite type of freight to deal with when it comes to temperature controlled stuff?
My favorite type of stuff is the really challenging stuff. Like when you're hauling something, I've hauled stuff for NASA before. And once I arrived there, I actually got to go in and tour and see things that I never thought I would see. But a lot of our freight is confidential. So we're not really allowed to talk about things, but some unique things. I've actually hauled one pallet that was worth $3.5 million across the United States before.
Holy crap.
When I went in, they wouldn't let me see what it was. We were on the dock. They strapped it in. They wouldn't let us. We had to be out of the truck. We had to watch them strap it in, but we did not know what it was. And we asked them how much this was worth. And they said, more than you'll ever make in your life. Just get it there and get it real fast. And so we did. And we never, to this day, I don't know what was in that crate, but it was probably 75 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, we moved some really cool stuff that goes to the space stations, the Mars rover craft, all kinds of really cool dirt that was here, taken to space, brought back here. So it's all kinds of neat stuff. You just think pharmaceuticals, drugs, vaccines. When COVID came out, it really put the gas on the cold chain mode, grew like gangbusters, had to move a lot of vaccines, had to be very cold. And then, we have these security things coming out. So customers really want to process driven mode. So, there's a new regulation coming out next month that's forcing a lot of manufacturers to, I think that's what, what you were talking about, the new law that's coming out that for security, we have a lot of bad people in this world and they want to break into trucks, maybe compromise the freight, poison the world. Anything could happen. So, there's very strict security processes in place as well as the temperature. So yeah, it's a lot of good stuff.
And it is
That's crazy.
It's a team effort. We rely on our drivers as much as we rely on our shippers, customers, agents. It is a team effort for freight to get where it needs to go.
High communication.
I'd imagine that both of your careers did not start with sending dirt to NASA to send to space and back, which is freaking awesome. But how did y'all get your start in refrigerator? Did you always know you wanted to be in the cold chain, or how was the process of, you know?
I started out in cold chain. I hauled produce out of California. Worst. I can't say I'd ever want to go back to that. It is not a fun thing to do. I love the specialized sector. Go ahead.
I've always worked in a sales type environment later in my career. So the challenge of learning something new, conquering something new was very intriguing to me. I like to accomplish things and things that maybe someone else might not like to do because there's a lot of processes involved. I really enjoy that. So did I have a whole career of cold chain? No, I worked maybe 20 years ago for a distributor that sold to all the fast food places, several different high chain fast foods. And I worked, that was the first refrigeration freight I ever did. And they'd have like the break bulk, the dry section, the frozen section, the refrigeration section, and they delivered this fast food place and that fast food place. But that's how the only refrigeration experience that I really had. So everything that I've learned over the years is just, self-taught. It's the policies, the procedures, and just really digging into the internet and doing a lot of reading and very educating myself.
And I'm going to say that Elissa taught me because I came into the specialized freight because of Elissa.
All right. So how did y'all meet each other? Was it through the company you work for now, or did you meet beforehand?
She was in corporate, and she was basically my mentor, my teacher. And then I started bringing things in because I'm an analyst. I am somebody who goes out and finds problems and says, I'm going to fix this, or I'm going to make this work. And so I would constantly call her and ask her questions, and she would constantly send people to me. And we wound up just developing this relationship. And then we both got involved in women in trucking. And that's where we
know our friend Ingrid Brown, I assume.
We really got to know each other really well. I dressed up as the church lady one night.
That was the disco night.
That was the disco night, and I dressed up as the church lady, and I had to borrow her shoes, and that's when we became true buds. But now we work together.
Yeah, Dawn was very instrumental in helping me grow the cold chain program. People lease on their equipment, they bring a reefer equipment and it's hard when there's not a lot of people that really work in that mode and go look for those customers in that mode. So, I didn't really have someone to send them to go get work with. So it was, I would use Dawn to call Dawn. She'll help you get with the agents, and she knows what freight's out there, and she would help them how to navigate through, especially if they were new coming onto the company. So people that have been around a while, they can navigate a little bit, but she, like she said, she's a linker. She links people up, and me and her worked very well together in growing that mode. So I thank her for all her help over these years. I think we've worked together wonderfully, and what not a good way to go out and work wonderful together, doing what we both do best. Hi, Josh.
Hi, Josh.
Sorry to interrupt. Hey, everyone.
Hey. Hello, Josh.
Warm welcoming hello there, Jeff.
Hey, Jeff. Golly. Wow.
I still want to find out how Josh has a proverbial freaking smile on his face. Like,
dude, you'll find out. You'll find out next week.
I know why. I know why. I know why.
You know why.
I know why.
Why is that, Jeff? I've been trying to figure out all this time.
I know why.
All right. Hey, so ladies, let's start to get into the intricacies of things, or the nitty gritty. what are some issues or common problems y'all deal with in the cold chain stuff? And I want to touch on both sides. Let's go to the shipper side first. You know, most people think that shippers know how to ship their own product, but I have come across a lot of times to where I, as a broker or even as a carrier, have had to advise them on really what is the best way to do something. So, you know, how is it with y'all dealing with shippers when it comes to these things, you know, and the things they may not know and teaching them and dealing with it?
Do you want to go, Elissa?
I can go, or you can go, because you pick up the freight at the shipper. So, I mean, I can talk about, I'll go first. So the shippers, sometimes they don't know how to translate what's important. You know, they just assume we know what temperature is it's supposed to be held at. They assume that all the carriers are going to handle it with the same care that they're required to handle it with, things like that. So getting you know, your customers to have a quality of care agreement or some type of transportation agreement is instrumental, because then we can read over that and know how they want us to handle their freight. When it gets to the dock, usually all of those people are trained, but I'll let Dawn kind of maybe touch on that, since she's been on that side of the fence, picking things up.
The main problem that I see with shippers is mispacking the freight or not knowing how much freight will fit on that trailer. I can go in and they'll ask me questions and I'll be like, hey, you know, we have in our trailers specifically, we have sensors in there, and they have a tendency, those forklift drivers have a tendency to go down the edge of the wall and rip sensors out constantly. So I have to get onto them about, you know, or speak with them about how tall they're stacking the freight, how much will fit on, whether it should be double stacked or not, what's going to be the safest way to ship their freight. And then we also have to maintain, the drivers have to maintain temperature control. If a reefer goes down, we need to get that freight off of that reefer as soon as possible. So I coincide constantly with shippers, receivers, drivers. I think I'm an outside the box thinker, so I can come up with ways to solve problems, even if it means cross-stocking the shipment, getting the shipment, the pharmaceuticals or whatever it is, into a safer environment, or getting it offloaded quicker if we, you know, in that situation. So I get the privilege of working with both shippers and receivers to negotiate freight being placed on trailers, fitting on trailers, making it to their destination. And I deal a lot with airports, so getting onto planes.
And with the cross stocking, I just want to touch on that real quick. You know, when you do cross stocking and taking it off one equipment and the other, there's processes in place, because the chain of custody always has to be intact. So it's very important to, you know, there's processes for that. You don't just take it and move it from one truck to the other. There's a big.
Hey, let's stop on that one real quick, because that's one of the things that's one of the things we want to get into with this. So let's touch on that the other side with this. You know, carriers. I have come across. I even had a friend of mine who tried getting into reefer freight. There are a lot of carriers that think that temperature controlled freight is easy stuff and it's money. All you got to do is hit the button on the thing and make sure it's at the set point. It's either a start, stop, or fucking continuous, and that's the end of the deal. So, you know, what are some things that y'all see that are common when it comes to, you know, the carriers that may not understand how important temperature controlled stuff is, all the way from, you know, even produce up to the things like pharmaceuticals and stuff for NASA?
When it comes to carriers, they should be required. And I think with GDP drivers, especially hauling pharmaceutical, they are required to have specific training. Not only it's got to be TSA, it's got to be cold chain training. They need to know the procedures, policies about getting those doors closed, keeping that temperature regulated, the monitoring, the locks on the doors. We have to protect that freight with everything that we can and make sure that it arrives at its destination. Like I said, a lot of the times when you're going in, if you have high value freight, a lot of the times you are going to be required to travel 200 to 250 miles before you can stop that truck, even to go to the bathroom. You have got to be prepared as a carrier. You have to know the rules that are in place by the shipper. By a lot of the times these loads are tracked. You're going to be tracked not only by your own company, but by outside sources. And you have to follow the specific instructions that are regulated by the shipper, the freight that is included in your trailer, and government regulations.
Yeah, I'm glad you touched on that because it blows my mind to see, like, there's a lot of bigger brokerages out here that their companies do get that GDP certification. And I was personally a part of helping a company out of Canada launch down here, and they got into the pharmaceutical side of life. And it is not easy. Luckily, our CFO came from the pharmaceutical side of life, and it made life a lot easier. But it's not just a simple cold truck, go pick it up, deliver it. There's so many ways that you can mess up. And I mean, you think that you can mess up with the frozen seafood load and deal with $1 million claim? Oh my God. I can't imagine some of the stuff y'all have seen with the pharma side of life. I mean, it's cold for a reason. Milk spoils. Add spoiled milk. You can't sell that. There's a difference between a bump, like with van freight, you got one pallet gone, whatever. You can deal with that. But something goes wrong with that reefer unit. You miss one bit of tracking with that temperature in there, they'll reject an entire truck, and it's not good.
Or put it into quarantine, and then you have to wait with it, and then there's all those types of delays as well. So it's very important.
You also have to keep record of your temperature. Temperature validation is very important, because when you've got a product picking up at a shipper and it's kept at a specific temperature, and they've got temperature regulators on each of these boxes or each of these pallets, and it gets onto the truck, then it moves to another location, and the chain of custody keeps going down the line. By the time it reaches its destination, if they say, hey, this product froze somewhere, or this product got overheated somewhere, or temperature record is off, you have to have documentation to protect not only yourself, because the claim could come back to you, but if you can prove it's not within the hours you had the freight, that it happened at another time while it was on a dock, it happened at another time while it was, wherever in that chain of custody, they can go back and actually log it with those temperature loggers to find out exactly when the offbeat of the temperature validation occurred.
And sometimes it could be as minor and as short of a time that the unit went into defrost mode. So it altered a little bit, but then we can explain our case. It was in defrost mode. It went out of temperature for 5 minutes and then recovered. It may have been, in Phoenix and 120 degrees outside. Everything tells a story. We have external sensors on the outside as well as the inside of the trailer.
Right.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what my biggest problem is right
Tell
now.
us.
When it comes to my, I'm sure this it burns.
Bring it.
It burns my ass, ladies. And when I say this, I think it'll burn your asses equally as much, because y'all seem to take temperature controlled freight very, very seriously, but not pre-cooling the fucking trailer.
Oh yeah.
I'm serious.
It's so easy to do. I've done it. First day I went out to Dallas, Texas for PTT. TJ was like, "Hey, go over there and pre-cool that trailer." I was like,
"It's not about how easy it is. It's not about how easy it is. It is about the fact that you, as a reefer driver, don't immediately start pre-cooling your trailer the second that you are given a load. I understand if you're 30 minutes away and you need to go from 40 degrees to 0, it may not happen that fast. But there's no reason you should show up at the shipper knowing you should be at 0 degrees and you're at 78. And then you complain because you sit there for 2.5 hours because it's 110 degrees outside in the middle of, or in South Florida, and you're asking why you're not being loaded. Well, I don't know, dumb. You tell me. So I'm serious. It is. I do not understand it. I have had that problem. It's only been really this year, to be honest with you. Almost every load I've done, I have one carrier. I had to take him off the load after 3 times. Like he was like, "Oh, I'm pre-cooling," and I said, "No, dude, you're not. Like you're not pre-cooling it. Stop lying to me. Like you're absolutely."
I'll give you one in with that one. I'll give you one in with that one. What if they don't even crank their reefer and it won't even start?
Oh gosh, not doing a pre-trip on your unit. Oh, don't get me started.
You go buy AC unit, you cut a hole in your trailer and just
You're a fool. You're a fool. Kick him out.
What she's saying is so common. So like, you know, when you do pre-trips, depending on the equipment that you have, your pre-trip as a driver will be different. The pre-trip for a person who hauls a van versus a flatbed versus reefer, all those things are different. When you haul a reefer, when you do your pre-trip, if that unit has been off, you need to start that unit. You need to drop it down to at least like 40 degrees. Make sure that it drops significantly within a short amount of time. You know, like, I mean, and you need to check your fuel level, all these things. It is just, it amazes me how many people nowadays pull reefer trailers and like seem to have no idea what the hell they're doing.
DIY semi. That's funny.
Pre-cook your reefer trailer.
Yeah.
But speaking of which,
if you want to link, bro, let us know. We'll shoot you a link.
I do want to bring up the fact that, and I love this, that you guys brought up that reefers aren't just meant for keeping things cool. It can also be used to prevent freezing.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the things that you guys use your cold chain for to keep things from freezing up and losing millions of dollars?
The automotive industry definitely needs, during the wintertime, paint for the vehicle, electronics, the batteries, these new electric batteries that go in these cars, they have to be held at temperature control to keep from freezing until they actually get in that sealed box in that car.
Don't give me an EV load. I'm gonna purposely not set that temperature right.
You just brought something up to my mind. I'm gonna bring this up later. Don't ever forget hazmat reefers. We'll get that.
Oh yeah, hazmat reefers. There's a lot of products out there that do have to be protect from freeze. That you do not want to freeze: gels, paints,
glues, adhesives.
Yeah. Well, there's some glues that are for the airlines. I think that they have to be kept at a very cool temperature because when they heat up, they bond.
Space glue. Well, maybe not space glue because it's really cold in space, or so they say. But that's cool.
Maybe.
Dawn, do you ever get reefer loads move it in your reefers? Just out of curiosity.
You're talking about getting a reefer inside the reefer?
Yeah.
All the time. We pick. They're called RKNs. Well, there's a lot of different modes, but you could have a highly sensitive cancer drug that needs to be
extremely
important that it stays a specific temperature. So they will literally put it in a reefer inside another reefer, and then that reefer, so that there's no temperature change in between the transport of opening those doors, putting that box inside the reefer. They'll put a Credo box or something in there just to make sure, and then you have to close the doors, seal them, you travel, and then usually you return the Credo boxes back. But there is sensitive drugs, sensitive material that literally cannot change temperature, that they will put inside a reefer to transport, then it will go inside another reefer, and then inside our reefers to go out again.
Yeah, a lot of life science, biotechnology, biosolutions, things like that. We moved something, you guys will love this, cow semen. Bull semen is what it was. So it was frozen and it had to remain frozen. And, you know, they used that to make more bulls. So it had to remain frozen. So that was kind of the weirdest thing I've ever, redneck thing I've ever thought of.
I was about to ask because when I first started in this industry, I knew this guy that used to move dead horses for colleges that had, like animal science or whatever it was. But yeah, frozen bull semen, that's a whole new style of freaking bull haulers right there. Who's the better one?
Yeah, and like the umbilical cord blood from different animals. They use it in all types of science. We call them science experience, but life science and things like that. Yeah.
That's
So a
awesome.
lot of wild stuff.
Hey Trey, I don't know if Pedro said hello to you yet, but
I
I'm
have.
so
That's right.
excited to meet you
Listen,
next week, brother.
this conversation is
Oh, for the
fascinating.
second
These are
time.
things that I don't get to do. So, I enjoy hearing about it because I'm just a peon that's in the marketplace trying to, provide services for the heroes out there. So I love hearing these stories, man. It's
And
awesome.
you know, Trey loves talking about semen.
The ones in the ones
I'm
in the
out.
Navy?
You know Pedro too much. I'm out. That was just between you and me, man. That was not for everybody else. All right. Jeez. Killing me.
Man.
Oh, good Lord.
Well, it's good to see you guys. I'm glad to be able to jump on and catch up with you guys. What's up, Pedro?
No, dude, we appreciate you hopping on, man. We know you're super busy. Ladies, do you know Trey?
No.
What do you do now? Let's go.
Yeah, Trey.
Yeah. Trey runs a consulting group in the logistics space. Does all kinds of cool things, marketing and just a whole plethora of things. Really, really amazing guy.
I love brand. That's my favorite thing is I love talking about brands and the value of a brand. And here's the easiest way to explain this. All right. This hat right here only costs like $6 to make. It's not that expensive, but you put the TaylorMade logo on it. All of a sudden it's now worth $20. You put something with Indy 500 on it. And now I got to spend $35 for this hat. The only thing that changed was the brand because brand is where the value is. So I love talking about brand and helping companies in our industry, brokers, carriers, help to really build their brand. And speaking of which, Pedro, listen, I've got something in the green room that you can add to the screen to show everybody. We launched something today, everybody. SupplyChainSwag.com. This is the easiest way for companies in our industry to send out swag one piece at a time. And they don't have to have any, you don't have to store it in the closet anymore. You don't have to mess with running to the post office to ship it out. You don't have to buy in bulk. It's one thing at a time. It's a subscription service that we launched today to help companies get their brand out there. So pretty fun stuff.
All right, Mr. Big Shot.
Right.
We're gonna talk.
Yeah, we'll just take the check at Broker Carrier Summit for the plug.
Yeah.
That's right.
Logistics Lounge.
That's right.
Logistics
Trey.
Lounge gets 70%.
I'll ship your product for you.
Trey said, what are you talking about? The insurance policy I had to get for you guys to get a golf cart is costing me a salary.
I had to put down a huge deposit
a couple times. All right, I promise.
I had to put down a
just hide
huge
it in the
deposit on
pond,
this thing.
and they won't know it's gone.
Oh,
Blame it
now
on
I'm
the
a little
cart
nervous.
boys.
Now I'm a little nervous about that, but we're gonna have a good time. Yeah, Listen Pretty Classic is on Wednesday. Starts off the Broker Care Summit. Let me tell you something. We're up to 420. What's the number? I just got it 4.
Dude, that number's been growing. I love the scoreboard of carriers versus brokers going to it. Yesterday,
carriers are
days
showing
ago,
out, dude.
Hell
Carriers
yeah,
are
they
showing
are.
out. I'm
Hey,
excited about that.
If y'all ever heard of the Broker Carrier Summit?
I have not.
I have
So
not
wait.
either.
We have
Yeah,
417 attendees are signed up right now. 126 motor carriers, 116 freight brokers. We'd like to see that become 2-to-1 at some point down the road. We're moving in that direction. But this is where deals get done. This is where brokers and carriers actually get to come together, air their grievances, get to know one another, find out what lanes and what types of freight you're moving, see if you can help each other out. This is the Certified Non-Scumbag Tour. The people that come to this event are doing the right thing. It's going to help you grow. They're not the people you find on load boards that you don't know.
Trey,
What's up,
there's
Josh?
going to be
What's up?
scumbags there. There's going to be scumbags.
Listen, we're going to get them out, Josh. We got Robert Bain. We're just going to boot them out when we find out, dude. As soon as we find out, they're out, man. We're getting them out.
There's a lot of grifters that are going. I can't wait to meet them.
No, Dan,
There are going to be
Dan,
some. There are going to be some.
no,
But that means we're
Dan.
doing something right.
Security glasses on. He's going to put them out.
That's right. Josh, listen, we might just have to put you at the door. I mean, we may have to just.
I wouldn't put
You know?
Josh at the door and be like, come on in, man. Come on in. Homeless guys.
Josh is going to be taking a cover charge to get into the main session. He's going to be taking a little off the top.
They're like, already bought it.
He'll be the guy out there going, "Oh, there's too many guys in there. Girls, come on, girls."
That's right. He's going to have his Venmo up. He's going to be taking cash, checking IDs. He's got the whole thing.
Hey,
man.
Josh, when we hop in
I
that,
will check. I will check if they only have 2 legs. I promise.
Bam.
Oh man, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited for it. My
That's
favorite event of
rude.
the year, man. My favorite event of the year.
Y'all are fucking Jesus Christ. I knew I shouldn't have sent Trey the link. I knew it. When I sent it, I was like, I'm probably going to regret this. But like,
Listen,
I
man.
like
Hey,
Trey.
we're all in this
He's
together,
good.
man. We're good. We're good. We're good.
We are. Who we got? Oh, Mr. Spud. All right, hey ladies, we're gonna move this back to real potato.
That's a nil.
Fucking a Neil.
The real.
We're gonna move this back talking to you ladies about this cold chain stuff.
Let me get out of here while you guys are doing that. I got dinner plans tonight and a musical to go to. So good to see you guys. We'll see you in Fort Worth next week. All right, y'all.
Nice
Peace out.
meeting you,
Take
Trey.
care.
About to hit a home run on the golf
Nice to
course.
meet you guys too. We'll try. We'll see what we can do. See you.
Home run.
All the touchdowns.
Bro, we are gonna Caddyshack the fuck out of that golf tournament.
There we are.
All I'm saying,
We're about to win.
Who
Who wants to be on our team?
Man, that's what we should do. Maybe that's what we should do. We should dress up like Bill Murray and Chevy Chase.
I'd be so down for that, man.
Bro, that'd be cool.
Bring your gopher with you.
Yes, I know.
Josh will
I'll be
dress
the
up.
gopher.
Josh is the gopher.
Don will bring one off that wall back there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
If I had access to the stuff that Don has in that room, bro, we would show up to the golf course at like 6 a.m. and just put like that bear on like hole number 4. You know what I mean? Just like standing there.
Okay, there you go.
Oh yeah. Well, Dawn, Elissa, this is our buddy Anil. He is a owner of a semi-decent trucking company, but handles a shit ton of reefer. Anil, are you with us? Oh, he's frozen. No pun intended.
I'm back, the Potato King.
Maybe he did that on purpose.
No, I think he is frozen.
He's buffering.
He's buffering.
Yeah, he's in a shop.
He has Patriot internet in the country.
Every time someone tries to come in from their truck shop, they just show it off and then they freeze up on us.
I know.
But all right, I guess while we're waiting on him, let's talk about this space freight, because if you ladies didn't know, Pedro and I actually started this show. Well, not started this show, but our first show was really kind of derived on space freight. Last year, India landed the first module, whatever you want to call it, on the south pole of the moon. Eli was the first space freight broker, delivering to the International Space Station. So, let's talk about what y'all are delivering with the dirt and all the things that go into that. Don't give too many details. Obviously, I'm sure there's some NDAs that go into it, but what was that like?
You want to? Okay. It's we just picked up items. We really didn't know what was in the freight. We really don't know what's in it until afterwards, and our drivers tell us. When the people on the dock tell them what it is. But we really don't know what it is. We know it has to be held at a very cold temperature, or maybe just a very standard true ambient temperature. So we really don't know what it is until after it's delivered, and someone will come back and say what it was. But normally we don't know what it is. It's super secret.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were all freezing up here.
It's secret squirrel stuff, guys. That's what she was trying to say.
Secret squirrel stuff. No, that's killer though. I mean, I couldn't imagine. What'd you say it was? 175 pounds?
Oh, what I got was 75 pounds in a crate. I still to this day don't know what I hauled. I don't. We weren't allowed to get on there. We weren't allowed to touch it. It was loaded on our trailer, strapped on our trailer. We took it down. They locked it. They unlocked it, and they took it off the trailer. We never even found out what we were hauling.
Yeah, we've had 20-pound, 50-pound boxes that someone could just literally pick up and put in the truck like this, and very high value, super sensitive.
Temperature controlled stuff is serious business. I mean, Hunter deals with it. Where he's at now. I know for a long time today today I shipped 150 pounds of fresh or frozen salmon that got flown from Norway and put it on a truck today. Even though it was on pallets, the pallets were literally like 1.5 feet tall, and I paid truckload rate for that. But the customer, I told him, I said, hey man, like 2 pallets, I don't know if I can LTL it. This stuff's important. Like it's, we probably just need to buy an entire truck for this, I mean, so we can make sure that we control everything, because someone partials it. What if they try to throw some shit in there and they jump the temperature above the freeze level? And then we've got that problem. And, now we've got thousands of dollars of fresh fish that is going to go in the trash, like the other day. But so, yeah, I mean, that stuff, it is serious business. And a lot of people don't take it that serious, and they don't think about those type of things. Like me, I'm not a big LTL reefer guy. When my customers come to me and they want to ship LTL reefer freight with me, I say, hey, listen, I'm not a big LTL reefer person. I'd rather just buy an entire truck. Like that really is the best way to do things with me in my eyes, because I don't have access to a lot of LTL carriers. And, it ensures that your product is going to be safeguarded. It's going to stay at the temp. We can control everything about the truck, so forth and so on. And so I say that to lead into, we had a guy on our show, Jeff Clark. Do y'all know Jeff?
No.
We're going to hook you up with Jeff. He is with a company called 7P Solutions. All he does is pharmaceutical stuff. Like his bread and butter, his whole life revolves around pharmaceutical freight, especially in the temperature controlled arena. I bring that up to say that Jeff was talking about how a lot of folks, when they get to the level that you ladies are at, you really need to start deep diving into every part of this, even with the carriers. Like, hey, what is your maintenance like with these reefers? What is your maintenance like with these trucks? What type of backup do you have if something happens? Do you have the proper coverages like reefer breakdown, that kind of stuff? So I've run my mouth with all that for 2 minutes to kind of come back and say, what do you ladies feel about that? Like, do you think that, that should start becoming something normal when it comes to reefer freight, is, getting into extreme insurance coverages like reefer breakdown, and what are your maintenance plans? What are your backups? Those type of things.
You want to go?
It is normal for carriers that do specialize in pharmaceutical, and even customers that ship pharmaceuticals, to require the maintenance of the trucks, to require the calibration and certification of that reefer unit to see that it can maintain, say it's 3 different industry standards, 3 different ranges, whether it's, ambient, frozen, super frozen. So, if the shipper, the manufacturer, is doing their due diligence, they are making sure that the carrier they choose has all of these policies in place, making sure they have all these documents from their carrier, making sure they have those quality agreements, because if you have a quality agreement, that's a contract, you're bound by your contract. If you're just hiring any person with a reefer and a steering wheel out there, then, you're not doing your due diligence and booking it on the proper carrier. Like I said, we don't move chicken and cheese in our reefers. We don't specialize in that. If a driver wants to get a backhaul of flowers out of Florida during Mother's Day and Valentine's Day, that's cool. They got to clean it out. But, we don't really specialize in that. A lot of our drivers don't have a lot of detention because it's very specialized freight. So these, like your customer or your gentleman you were talking about, they really need to do their due diligence and homework on the carriers that they're using, making sure that they do have these maintenance policies in place, and the trucks are calibrated appropriately for pharmaceuticals, not for groceries.
I feel kind of attacked. You're throwing chicken and cheese out there, man.
The other thing you also want to look at, shippers need to really make sure that they're comparing apples to apples. What type of sensors, what type of guarantees do these carriers have inside their equipment that, that they can monitor their freight and know where their freight's at? That's a really important thing, because you could think you're getting one thing, but maybe that carrier doesn't have the sensors in their freight. Maybe they don't maintain their equipment. Maybe they don't have record. It's very important to do pre-trips. It's very important to run temperature sensors. It's very important to track your freight. It's very important to know the chain of custody of command. And it's very important to know that what sort of service you are getting from your carrier. And that is really something every shipper should check out.
Exclusive use.
Yeah, make sure that Johnny's not going to stop by 7-Eleven and pick up a couple boxes of
Cheese Whiz.
Cheese Whiz to take the Winn-Dixie on the way or something
Well,
like that.
that's a nil right above you, Dawn, that you got to watch out for.
No, we're pretty exclusive with one producer, and we're pretty specialized in some like high pressure kind of expedite meat freight. So our stuff is, we're not really messing around. And for, I say, the last 4 years, I would say we have running about 14 trucks and reefers. We have approximately 2 service failures.
Damn. I didn't know
So
that.
our
That's
on-time
not
percentage
bad.
is well over 99%. But we're extremely proactive on our maintenance.
It's very
So we have
important. Yeah.
That is very, very important. And here's the
So
other
do
thing.
y'all deal with oh, go on, Don.
Oh, I was going to say, here's the other thing. You're looking at products that you're hauling in reefers and different types of items. You've got to look at the reefer equipment also. He's saying he's hauling meat, correct? Is that right?
Yeah, we're fresh, mostly fresh, a little bit of frozen.
When you're looking at your equipment, reefers have different types of flooring in them. Some have wood floor, some have metal floors. When you're hauling meat products and stuff like that, you always want to make sure it's on a metal floor. If you haul chicken in a wood floored trailer, you're running the risk of contaminating whatever else you haul in that trailer.
I honestly have never seen a wood grain or a wood floor reefer. I mean, they may exist.
Oh,
but,
they do.
As far as food grade goes, yeah, it's all metal.
Food grade, food grade. You've got to know what reefers you're getting. So what I was saying is, he's probably sterilizes his reefers. He's probably maintaining them, checking them out, and doing what he's supposed to do, which is what all carriers should do. But it's up to the shipper to check that out.
Well, yeah, we have our own in-house mechanic, our own shop, so everything's on our own service schedules.
Don, I like that you brought up the sterilization. When I pulled reefer freight my entire career, even when I did local stuff, I did multi-tip. We still hauled frozen and cooler goods. But I would get my trailer sterilized depending on what I hauled previously compared to what I was going to haul before. Like the first place I ever drove for was a subsidiary of FFE, and FFE had the Hershey contracts. So on the way from Texas up to the Northeast, we would haul loads for Alcoa in our trailer. They were aluminum blocks, and they had to be temperature controlled because they came out the furnace, blah, 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 blah. Point is, so those would go to one place, but then we would go and get our reefer washed out, sterilized, deodorized, even though the stuff doesn't stink, before we would go to Hershey in like Mechanicsburg, Shippensburg, PA, Hershey, PA, and pick stuff up. As I moved through my career, I would do the same thing. If I hauled potatoes and I was going to go pick up meat, even though that meat was palletized, I would still ask my company, hey, I need to get a washout. I need to get my trailer sanitized. We cannot deal with any type of cross-contamination here. And I get reefers, so many reefer carriers to I wait for people that do a reefer load with me to ask me for a washout. And when they don't, I'm like, man, you really just went to that next fucking load after hauling these flowers that I just put in your truck and you're probably going to go pick up some chicken or beef or something like that. And, you know, nobody's going to, you know, you just don't even care. So, you know, those type of things are the big issues that matter when it comes to temperature controlled freight. And I'm not even talking about specialized, just those type of things, cross-contamination. You know, that is a serious, serious thing when it comes to folks that deal with temperature controlled freight.
Pedro, wasn't there some laws that changed about 10 years ago regarding that, as far as record keeping with sterilization? Because I know most meat plants, you know, they'll take care of that in-house, or they require paperwork to prove it's been done before they'll load you.
Don't give me the lie to as far as the law, but I will say there were a lot of places that when we went to pick up, you had to provide a washout receipt. And sometimes it was just a washout. They just wanted to see that the trailer had been washed out. But some of them wanted to see that your trailer had been washed out, sanitized, all that. The strictest place that I've ever went with for a reefer load was when I was with FFE. They also had the contract with Johnson & Johnson. And we used to pull, and Don, this one goes to you. I'm not sure what it is. We are pretty sure that it was a painkiller, Vicodin, or something like that. But it always had to be a team truck. They were trailer specific for this account. So you had to go out of your way, drop the trailer at a terminal, and pick up trailer specific for the Johnson & Johnson's account. And dude, you had to sit in the truck. You could not go inside. It was an armed guard that went with you. You had to drive, Don, I think you're correct. I want to say it was 250 miles or something before we could stop. And that stuff was rigorous. And it was from New Jersey. I'm not going to say the place, but it's from New Jersey down into Kentucky. And it was a straight shot overnight. That was the strictest place I ever went to. And the trailers were completely unmarked, had no FFE things on it at all. That was some crazy freight.
That's what we do.
That's what we do.
Every day.
And they probably gave you specific routes to take too. They probably said, hey, you need to take this route. You need to go here.
No, I will say the two guys the security guys with us, we actually had a powwow beforehand, and they asked us about the route that we were going to take. And it was always two trucks as well. And it was funny, it was always two trucks because they weren't full loads. I mean, it was like 5, 6, 7, 8 pallets. But later I came to find out that the reason they did that was because one truck was loaded with the dummy load and one truck had the actual product in it. And both trucks ran together. And so no one knew who had what. You had matching BOLs, and like even the BOLs were in a sealed envelope that, I mean, when you handed it to where we went, it had to still be sealed. The only people that could open it other than us would have been DOT. And then we even had a sheet that like the Department of Transportation would have to sign saying that they opened the package. It was freaking nuts. It was crazy the shit we went through. But I love those runs. They were great, man, because they all ran at night. No one on the load, no one on the road. Man, they were so freaking fun, man. Those security guys, we got the same ones every single time. They were so fucking cool. But yeah, they talked to us about the route and said, hey, what do you want to run? And we told them, and we just figured it out together. So I will say that they were real cool about that. They took us as the drivers, input into account. So I thought that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Dead silence, awkward silence. There you go.
So all right, I'm gonna ask, what's the craziest story? And both of y'all can choose the answers first, but what is the craziest situation you've dealt with, and how did you handle it in the long run with any shipment in cold storage or cold chain? Excuse me.
Well, I mean, I've done some crazy stuff. Like I've had shippers and look at me and go, hey, and during COVID, I know you've only got 5 trucks, but we want to ship this much freight. We want to fill this. We want to charter an entire airplane, and we want to ship this much freight. Can you do this? And I was like, yes, I can. And I would have guys lined up. We would go up in almost a convoy style, 26, 30 trucks in a row, and we would fill the entire airport. And the people would come in the next morning and be like, oh no, Dawn's here. She's got a charter. They'd gotten so used to me just bringing freight. But it's what we do. And my crew is kind of crazy because we're all on the phone all the time, giving each other all the traffic stuff so we can route off route real quick and go, because we need to make our loads quickly and then get back up. So we have like party lines going on, and every once in a while, an agent will call in and we'll throw them in on the party line, and we'll just all get to laughing. But we try to involve agents in as much as we do with everybody else, or they'll call us like crazy freight rates, wanting us, hey, you got a reefer? Can you pick up down in Florida for 46 cents and haul a load over to Texas? And we'll mess with the agent when they do that. We'll be like, hey, what is it? What are we hauling? And they're like, they'd say somewhere, and we're like, that sounds like it might be illegals. If we got to feed them, it's going to cost you more. If we got to get them hamburgers, we just mess with them. They won't be hanging up on us. But we'll get a crew, 15, 17 drivers sometimes on a party line talking, giving, traffic updates, what's going on, where are we at. And it's just kind of fun. We've become a big family out here.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You don't hear that a lot. You got a lot of people out here just for themselves, brokers, carriers, whatever it may be. But it really does take a team, especially dealing in.
It does. And that's, I think that's what drew me and Dawn together, is we like to help people. And, I wanted to see the driver succeed. And I knew she could help them succeed out on the road. So I would do my part and the back office part and her part on the road. And it really is a beautiful thing. You help people succeed. You help people change their lives. If you just want to, you want to move freight for $1.50 a mile, or you want to move freight for $6.50 a mile, so there's, and it goes up from there. It's not just $6.50 a mile. So you can really change these drivers' lives and their businesses by introducing them to this type of freight, introducing them to these opportunities out there. And that's what I really fell in love with, where I was at, and in building this program is helping people and just really changing these people. Drivers are such wonderful people, awesome people. And, when you find the right group, the right person, and kind of, show them the ropes, what all has to be done. And, everyone follows the rules. It's just wonderful. So we really do have a great group. Dawn's fostered them out there on the road, and it's been great. So I think that's what drew us together in this, what we're doing now. So it's pretty cool.
And you ladies are a perfect pairing. I mean, it really is. Elissa, you've got everything from the side outside of the truck, and Dawn has got that experience from the truck and still dealing with trucks, and now and her crazy super crazy analytic problem solving brain. Y'all are an amazing pairing. I mean, and that is a huge thing when it comes in this industry, when it comes to success and, and dealing with your customers and moving freight, period, is aligning yourself with folks that know things, can do things, or have experience in things that you don't. And you can pull off each other to drive success into, your business, your customer's business, the carrier's business, and everyone, that is attached to that as well.
We do.
I don't like to say no. I want to figure it out and let's get it done. That's the worst thing, is telling a customer no, that you can't do something. You maybe because it's too hard. You don't know how. Let's figure it out. How hard can it be? So, that's what I truly enjoy, and we can figure it out. So thank you for that.
Yes, thank you very much. We do think we have an amazing team. It's me, Lorena, my sister, and Elissa, and we come together and are willing to tackle anything. I mean, nothing is too too much for us. We work together as a team. We work with drivers. We work with other agents. I mean, we're not isolating ourselves. We understand that there's other freight out there, and we can work with other agents to make things happen for customers all the time.
Yeah, that's really what this business is about when it comes down to it, is just trying to find a way to make it work to get, the freight from point A to point B, no matter what it is, whether it's just, a simple load of packaging, or whether it's a life-saving drug, you know what I mean? And when you're tasked with that, you find a way to figure it out. Like you said, Elissa, you say, how hard can it be? We all know it could be hard, but that's the thing, is how hard could it be? And what's the worst case scenario is you're going to fucking learn something. Even if you don't get to be the one that does it for that customer, you're going to learn something. I learned something a few weeks ago with someone that I'm hoping to finally become a customer, and that was dealing with bulk loads. I don't run bulk loads, but he needed a bunch of mulch moved, and I ended up calling a bunch of different carriers and found this one guy. I was like, oh no, man, the type of trailer he's talking about isn't what you really want. This is what you want to do. And I have a trailer that can do that, blah, 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 blah. And it ended up working out, saved the customer money, all of these things like that. And so it was, the customer thought he needed one thing. And I was like, okay, I'll make that happen. Talk to a carrier, and they're like, no, man, like, yeah, that'll work, but this would be more effective, more efficient, and I can save your guy money. So, it is. That's the epitome of what this business is taking all the puzzle pieces and putting them together and making it work.
Exactly.
True that.
And it is about the customers. I mean, it is about what the customer needs, and it's up to us as agents, us as carriers, to come up with solutions for what they need and put it together in a form which is feasibly economical, financial,
responsible,
because that's what will keep our customers with us.
Yeah, I agree. Terrell, could you expand on that a little bit? Terrell says, what is the situation on platform side of cold chain? Ladies, maybe you know what he's talking about. I mean, if you do, answer. If not,
I know.
Okay, all right. Go ahead. Let's take it away then.
So there's a big industry for, Dawn mentioned GDP earlier. That's a certification. I think you fellas know about it. So there's containers that come into the port and they're refrigerated, but they have to be moved by GDP certified carriers. So, in our network, we have not just reefer trailers, we have step decks, chassis drivers, power only drivers. So that's what I think he's asking, what in the industry, how it's going for those containers that are coming in to be moved by, the platform drivers. They can pick up the container, put it right on the, the step deck, the double drop, and carry that container from, the port, rail yard, wherever it's going. So I think that's what he was asking about that.
That is pretty neat. If that is what you're saying, Troy, I mean, that we haven't touched on that. I posted something the other day, about a load that I do that eventually ends up in Florida, and it gets cross-docked onto a reefer container, and it gets put onto a ship that goes to Puerto Rico, and we haven't talked about that. Hunter, this would be in a Hunter's lane, which is the drayage stuff, so, how do that things work? It is, how much more complexity does it add to things when you're putting stuff in a refrigerated container?
Oh, getting your gin set, baby. That's a whole nother beast right there, man. It's fun, but it can be really not fun at the same time. But I'll let them touch on it because they're the experts.
Yeah,
I'm getting my ass chewed right now at work. Funny enough, I got to make sure something gets picked up for next week.
Yeah, there's a certain certification that a driver has to have to move. They have to be the GDP type certified. So we have a fleet of drivers, and they get their GDP or their GDP like certification, their cold chain certification. They have panic buttons that are installed. All of our trucks have panic buttons in them as well in case of emergency. So those are, you know, that he probably looking to see if there are opportunities out there. And even in you guys' space, you know, if there are opportunities out there, instead of transloading the freight, sometimes the customer says, I don't want it transloaded. I want the entire container picked up from the port or from the rail yard, and I want it delivered to wherever it's going, and I want the seal to remain intact. You have to look at the LCD screen, take a picture of the temperature, check it every 2 hours, take a temperature, send it to the agent or whoever is, you know, you're reporting the freight to, and report it back to the customer. So those are just other opportunities that are out there to move this temperature sensitive freight without breaking the seal, without opening the load, without transloading it. So those are, you know, some other things that are out there in the cold chain space, not just a refrigerated truck. They could go on the, you know, the step decks, power only, move the containers like that.
Nice. Got it. I didn't. It's a good question, Terrell. Thank you, man. Thank you for asking about that. Did not think about that stuff. You know, that I've yet to really have to deal with it. I've only dealt with it as the transloading as the driver, and you know, dealing with it as transloading it now as a broker when we get it back down to Florida and they take it off, inspect it, and put it on a container. So
it is part of the process. I mean, it does have to come off the ships. It has to come off. They are just like the airlines. Sometimes, you know, they're pulling, like I said, the Credo boxes off or the RKNs off the airplanes, and those reefers have to go inside another reefer and get moved down the line. So we do have a pretty big platform.
I'm gonna ask my customer that I do the seafood for, because they pick it up from the airport on one of their own trucks and then take it to a local warehouse, and then I take it to where it eventually needs to go. But I want to ask him about that, Dawn. Ask him, like, you know, how does this stuff come off of this plane? You know, could you like send me pictures of this stuff? That's I never thought about that, you know.
And I know a lot of freight, a lot of times when it's going, even especially with pharmaceuticals, it's going to be packed in dry ice. It's going to be packed in things to keep it cool on top of the reefer also. So you may see like a regular box, but actually what's in it is a cooler packed with dry ice.
Yep. We do ice packs. It's fun. We got a couple coolers, freezers full of them to the top. Doing a little pick and pack, repack.
It does happen, especially when you got something that gets damaged and you've got to repack it before it can even go, or it runs out of time and it's got to go.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But the demand, I think one of the biggest challenges right now that I'm finding with the pharmaceuticals is capacity. Finding qualified drivers or drivers that we can have for shippers. We've got a big we've got a big demand for it, but yet the capacity is very tight to make sure that everyone's freight, which is the reason that I became this linker person, because I'm like, I know you're 500 miles away, but if you can deadhead there and get this, it will be well worth your while. They will pay for it. When there's a shortage of trucks or a shortage of qualified drivers, it does become an issue with this particular chain.
And with the new Drug Supply Security Chain Act that's coming out end of November, there's going to be another shortage of this type of capacity as well. Manufacturers are going to be held to a certain standard to move things in a certain way. So, you know, there may be a shrinkage in capacity then as well, because more people are going to be calling on those types of units to move the freight. So you might see a little squeeze before the end of the year, and it being peak season as well.
Let's touch on that as our final topic, Elissa. I know that is something that you really wanted to get to, and we forgot about it. So I'm very glad that you came back around and pulled us to that. So let's talk about that. Can you elaborate on it?
Yeah, I'll never miss a compliance step. I'm always in the compliance mode. But there's a new regulation, the FDA. It hasn't been updated in 10 years, since 2013. But it's called the Drug Supply Security Chain Act. And that's where I touched on earlier about the security of loads not getting tampered with while they're in transit. Maybe the carrier, maybe the driver needs to have specific locks, specific tracking devices, the panic buttons, things like that on the truck. Maybe not just one tracking device, maybe a couple or a few. So it just depends on what the product is, I guess what type of regulation that, in that regulation process they have. So it like I said, it hasn't been updated since 2013, a while since it's been updated. So you will see maybe more manufacturers wanting to get more involved with the carrier, asking more questions. What do you have? What do you do? What are your certifications? What type of tracking devices do you have? What type of temperature recording devices do you have? Things like that. Do you have something that will sound an alarm when the rear door opens? All of those things.
I'm glad to hear that. Unfortunately, it may just be in this space right now that we're talking about, but I really think that shippers, period, should be getting involved at that level, regardless of the stuff you're shipping. We've talked, this whole conversation has been about, temperature control stuff and the cold chain of custody when it comes to temperature control things, security, all this stuff. But, we should be implementing a lot of these processes within just normal everyday freight. It is a very nasty, risky world out there right now when it comes to transporting freight across the country. And people are still in anything. Seriously, literally anything. So, hopefully maybe over the coming years, that stuff will start to trickle down and shippers and manufacturers will start to take all of this stuff serious. What kind of measures do you have in place, parameters, whatever do you have in place to protect my freight? What if this happens? What if that happens? What are your certifications? What do you know? Those type of things. And I also feel, could be wrong, that when we start taking this stuff more serious like that, maybe freight rates could also go up with that. Because then you're talking to real professionals, people who know what the fuck they're doing, that know what they're worth. And so, could have all kinds of implications in the years to come with something like that.
It's really knowing the value of your customer's freight and the value of your relationship with the customer.
I agree. I'm with you. And I go back to Jeff Clark, the guy that we would talk to from 7P Solutions. That is the exact thing that he said, Dawn. That is exactly what his point was with that.
Let's see.
Mr.
Question from Terrell Pitts. Are you guys open to solo drivers?
That all depends on the customer. The customer is, at the end of the day, is the one that makes all the rules. They're the ones that say we need a team driver, regardless if it's 50 miles. It could be one of those very high risky loads that Robert was talking about earlier. So do we have cold chain loads that are solo friendly? Absolutely. We've got a lot of them. So, it's a mixed bag, but it does depend on the customer's contract, things like that, what they'll allow. So yes, we do dispatch solo drivers on these types of loads, but it does depend on the customer's contract.
Awesome. Well, hey, Terrell, if you're still watching, brother, hit us up on LinkedIn or on X, and we can get you set up with these lovely ladies. Neil, you've been quiet down there. You got any questions? Anything you want to touch on from your side? Oh, he's frozen once again.
He's frozen again. I keep waiting to hear what he has to say. It's freezing up.
Let's look at a production, making sure stuff went on right first. You made a comment though, and I kind of curious on it. You said basically you don't like to say no to customers, and I kind of take the other attitude. If it's not something I'm an expert in or I can excel at, I absolutely want to say no. If it's not something where I'm going to exceed your expectations and we're going to hit our goals spot on and be better than anyone else at it, I want to leave it behind and stick to what I know.
And
I
you
think
are in a
it's risky to
specialized
try and
industry.
be all things to all people.
You are in a specialized
Well,
industry.
in any, you find your niche.
Yep, you find
Yeah.
your niche.
So I mean, there's a lot of things I will say no to. If it doesn't work for us, if it's not, and more specifically, if it's not something, I don't want to. I know there's an attitude in the industry where, hey, I'm just going to put it on my back and we'll figure it out after we have it. And I disagree and I hate that attitude.
Oh, I disagree with that too.
100%.
I think you should find the solution before you move forward. You should brainstorm and find the solution before you move forward. You shouldn't take freight on unless you already know you can handle it, because that's
Well,
not
unless I
productive.
can guarantee service.
Right. That's not
And if I
productive.
cannot guarantee service, I will not do it.
I agree with you on that.
It's not that I won't push myself to the limits or our team to the limits or find alternative solutions, but I will not commit to something that we do not excel at. But anyways, I don't know, just came across me so that, hey, I don't like to say no. I just to clarify, within our niche or within what we know.
Yeah.
Neil,
Anyways,
you're good at everything,
I'm
Neil.
just fucking around here working on trailers. No, I'm not. I'm good at a very specific lanes and specific niches that we're good at, and I stick to it. I don't want to go too far out of my lane.
That's what makes a real professional driver, though, or a real owner operator, real fleet operator, Mr. Neil, is knowing where to get in, where you fit in, and how you make money, and the way you make money. And a lot of carriers don't understand that, sir. So you're very, very lucky. Same thing with you ladies. It takes real professionals to deal with the stuff y'all are dealing with, and you got to make sure you're handling, putting that freight, dealing with carriers that are above par and folks that are ultra professional.
Absolutely.
Fucking train of thought there. Wow, it just boom, completely left. I'm sorry.
It is Friday, man. What happened to getting drunk?
I think the ninja took
shit.
it.
Maybe you're right. The ninja.
I think the ninja got it.
The ninja took it. Yeah, the beer ninja. The beer ninja.
Yeah, my wife left, so I got the actual boss's office, so I can screw around now. I had to be kind of semi-professional and quiet while she was here.
There you go.
That's no fun.
Well, my husband just left to go to his softball game. He's on a man's league. They play a couple nights a week, so hopefully he don't get hurt tonight.
Playing softball?
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
And we'll touch on it in a minute because we're about to have to wind things down here. So we'll tell you what it is here in a minute. Sorry,
all right.
I completely.
I was waiting because I didn't hear the
down.
announcement either.
I'm waiting for the ninja to come back.
We'll run it. We'll run the announcement again before we get off for those who may not have seen it. That said, I have some things that I want to do with my wife, which mainly I just kind of want to hang out with her, spend time with her, because she's a really pretty lady. I love her. She's amazing. She's in there making shepherd's pie right now.
Ooh.
Ooh. I know. I love shepherd's pie. Before we get off here, though, Elissa, any exiting comments, questions, concerns, updates? Do you want to give yourself or your business some plugs?
If you're having a reefer container or trailer out there running it and you're running pharmaceuticals, if you're listening to me, always run it in continuous, never run it in stop-start cycle. That's the only thing I have to say for a plug about that. If anybody is looking for high risk, high value freight to move, me and Dawn can handle it for you at our agency. Gambell Enterprises, we're an agency for Landstar. And find us on LinkedIn or find us here.
Hell yeah.
Dawn, same question to you.
Oh, well, Alyssa pretty much summed it up, but what I want to say to everybody is stay safe out there. Always watch your back. It's a rough world right now, especially if you're driving a truck. We've got a lot of theft going on, a lot of fraud going on. So always watch your back and stay in safe spots, and everybody have some safe travels out there.
Absolutely.
Rock and roll.
Love that, Dawn. Dawn, I'm telling you, I would never in my life think that you were a fucking truck driver. Like, never, ever.
You would never think that I run 30 guys a lot of the time, that I literally I call guys up and I'm like, what are you doing? What's your next load? How many hours you got? Where are you at? I want you to get up here and sit in this dock and go to sleep, and I'm gonna load you in the morning. Then I want you to close your doors, drive up here, drop this right. And they're like, wait. And they say,
and then she'll make them breakfast in her truck.
And then I'll make them breakfast in my truck. I'll make them breakfast in my truck the next morning. So
you two ladies are a pair. I'm telling you what, y'all are something else. Oh man, this is good stuff. Y'all welcome back anytime. I just want y'all to know that. Like, anytime you see us on, y'all want to hop in, you want to say hi, you want to hang out, maybe you want to get involved in the conversation, just let us know. We'll shoot you a link. Tons of stuff we did not touch on, so we'll definitely have to do a part 2 to this, and we'll have to talk about all of Dawn's international honey expeditions. No, I'm joking. But Anil, you can stay with us if you want to, brother. We're going to chill backstage for a little bit and do some post-show stuff. But do you have anything you want to say, Anil? Any exiting comments, questions, concerns? Want to give yourself or your company some plugs?
Oh, God, I'm brain dead, man. It's Friday. Just keep it real, keep it safe.
There you go. And he's gone.
He needs to get his ass some Starlink in that damn shop.
And all I have to say, Pedro, is just keep it fresh out there and keep it safe.
That's right.
Got a big week next week, but hey, Elissa, Dawn, appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Real cool.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Very insightful, and we'll definitely be in touch. I'm done reefer before, but like now I am, head first into it. So would love to keep in touch, like I said, and get some insight, shoot some shit back and forth.
You have questions about anything, feel free to message us. You have our information.
Yeah.
Send me a note or Dawn a note if you have a question about something, maybe a client you're working with, and just have some general questions. Like I said, we're all here to help each other.
Totally.
We're all in this world to survive. So
that's 100%.
it. And I'm going to I want to hook you ladies up with Jeff Clark. Like I said, really smart guy. He has been in the logistics pharmaceutical side of things for decades. And so, who knows what could come of that, with y'all. But I think he's right up y'all's alley. Would be an amazing connection for y'all to have.
Please.
So I will make sure that I have that I make that happen. Before we end tonight, Kelly, if you're still watching, we are going to redo our special announcement just for you, Kelly, because you know that we love you. So the special announcement is Hunter and I had the opportunity to interview some truck drivers that are a part of a signed country music band out of Texas here. They've toured internationally, been doing this for 18 years. And had a chance to sit down with them and ask them some questions about what it's like to be on tour with, in their sense and the things that they like to do, or in what it is like to do what they do. So with that, here is our special announcement video again, just for you, Kelly. Jesus freaking God, my brain is stopping.
It's been a long time gone since the truth's been told, and I've seen my
we love you too, Kelly. You know we do. You're one of the OG lounge lizards. So we have got to get Kelly to a trucking event so we can meet her. We have got to find a way to make this happen. I don't know when or how, but we do. We have got to meet Kelly some way.
All good things happen with time.
That's right. That's right. We're going ahead and chop these final sponsor breaks out, and then we'll talk about what you can expect from the lounge in the coming weeks. Everybody, freight validate. We all know how big of a problem freight fraud and theft is. You got to do whatever you can to protect yourself. Vet those carriers, vet those brokers, and there's nobody that we're backing more than our good friends at Freight Validate. Del Praxis team, all the things they are doing and have done are absolutely amazing. They are also now partnered with My Carrier Portal, formerly My Carrier Packet. And so when you do your onboarding with them, you can also integrate with Freight Validate and go through the vetting process to make sure that you are doing business and are setting up with the carrier or the broker that said that you think that you are. Our newest sponsor, Freight Ninja, truck parking. One of the biggest issues out there right now. Matter of fact, I believe FreightWaves just put out their yearly poll on one of the top issues for drivers. And if I'm not mistaken, truck parking was number 2 or 3 on that list. So number 2, there you go. Major problem going on. We had these 2 ladies on tonight that were talking about the importance of the cold chain and temperature controlled freight and security and all these things like that. What better way to make sure that your freight is secure than parking on a truck parking spot with Freight Ninja that has cameras and gate access, all of these things that can ensure that your equipment and the freight within that equipment stay safe. Freight Ninja, make sure you use the code. Scroll at the bottom of your screen, get yourself some special rates. Mr. Hound, what do we got coming up next week, man?
Broker Carrier Summit.
Yeah. What up?
The Whiskey Myers show on Tuesday. And then is John doing a show on Monday?
John is doing a show on Monday. I'm pretty sure that he is.
Everybody be sure to tune in. Stop the scam. I'm not sure he's got in there, but yeah. You'll catch us live time from the Broker Carrier Summit, though. So keep an eye on all of our platforms because we're going to be popping in randomly during the day. Got some cool interviews coming up. I think a 5-lettered very high entity will be in one of those panels that we're doing. Either FM YMCMA or something like that. I'm not sure. It's crazy, but it'll be fun.
I know the TOD. I don't know, something like that. I mean, we don't know. It's someone for some important government agency. That's right. No regular shows next week because, like Hunter said, we'll be traveling, chilling at the Broker Carrier Summit, but we will be doing some amazing content. We're dropping some stuff for y'all. Tuesday, 4 p.m., October 22nd, next week, we will be dropping the unedited version of the interview with the drivers from Whiskey Myers. So it'll be just like a live show. You guys are going to see everything and hear everything that we talked about. Going to be amazing stuff. And then when we come back from the Broker Carrier Summit, the final week of the month, October 30th, will be the second annual Logistics Lounge Halloween show. If you want to join us, it's going to be a freestyle type event. Make sure you dress up, come hang out with us on stage. We're going to have Nick Klingensmith. He's going to give us an update on the Men Wears Pink campaign that was supporting cancer awareness for the month of October. If you have not yet gone and donated, you can go to our site and just find any of the posts that we've done about Nick, and there's a link there to support him in that campaign. Hunter, November 1st, Friday, that's a show I'm very excited about. We're going to have two young men. One just graduated from college with his degree in logistics, and the other is just about to graduate from college with his degree in logistics. And we're going to have a panel on here of some veterans in logistics for them to talk to. We have the Bodacious Cowboy Jeff Dickinson, John Brewer, who is the head of logistics with, I know the company, but what's the actual name? Fucking Carl's Jr., whatever.
Carl's Jr. Hardee's, yeah. It's
Carl's Jr. Hardee's. He's head of logistics for Carl's Jr. and Hardee's. We're going to have Mr. Stephen Tittle. Everyone knows him. He is now
CKE Holdings.
Yes.
CKE Restaurant Holdings.
CKE Restaurant. There you go.
There
Stephen Tittle. He used to be the transportation manager for Rockford Fosgate. And then we got a couple more folks that are going to come on and hang out. So y'all are going to get the chance to give some advice to some young up-and-coming logisticians that are fresh out of college. Really hope everyone tunes in for that. I think that's going to be a great show for us to have an opportunity to mold the minds and give some advice to some new entrants into our industry. And rest of November is going to be a hit. So, hey, we're going to end it with all of that. Hope everyone has a wonderful weekend. We will catch y'all on the flip side. And as I always say, chunk them deuces. Mr. Hound, roll that beautiful bean footage.
You're